All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Here walking down Fifth, and it's kind of a beautiful morning, beautiful day. If you live in Southwest Florida, it's a lot of sun, and I mean, it's kind of warm, but anyways, welcome to the video. So I remember a time Jesus was walking into town, not in Naples, Florida, but actually a town in Jerusalem. And Jesus comes walking into town, and actually a lady by the name of Martha invited him, welcomed him into her home. And so Jesus walks in, and he's got his disciples with him, and they're just kind of chilling. And actually, evidently, her sister welcomed him also, because she sat down to just listen to Jesus. I mean, have you ever just been around that person, or even watched something, like if it was online, you watch someone or you're in their presence, and you just love the things that they're talking about, or just what they're saying, and you can't get enough of like what they're saying. This was kind of Mary. Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet, and she was just enjoying the words he was speaking. And I'm sure when you look at Jesus' words and you look at some of the things that he spoke, they were life-giving words. They were words of they were positive words, and just words that just spoke to people's hearts, and so this is Mary. Mary's just she's sitting there, and she's just kind of enjoying just being in Jesus' presence, just sitting there and enjoying him talk, and enjoying him speak, and enjoying him teach. And Martha, for some reason, Martha was kind of distracted, and she was distracted about just a lot of things. Have you ever just been distracted by stuff? Like you're trying to get somewhere in life, and there's a lot of distractions around. Like there's just a lot of things that are trying to get your attention. You think about like just our world. It's so easy to be distracted. Like if we want to get somewhere with our career, or if we want to get somewhere just in life, and we want to live a certain life, there's so many things that can distract us, that can get our focus off of what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to be successful in, and that sort of thing. And that was Martha. Martha was just distracted. Like I think for example, for myself, it's like I try to stay fit. I try to stay healthy, but there's so many things that can distract me from that. And sometimes, especially at my age now, it's just easy to put on weight. And if I'm not careful, I can get distracted and just eat, just a lot of carbs, or eat a lot of junk food, and I pile on the pounds quick, put the weight on quick. And so it's just easy to do that. So I try to be careful, but it's easy to get distracted by stuff. It's easy to get distracted by just eating unnecessary things. And so it's the same way with Martha here. Martha, she was just distracted by a lot of stuff that was going on, and just whatever it is that was going on in her life, she was just distracted by things. And there was another thing that Jesus pointed out, and he said, Martha, you're worried and you're upset about a lot of things. And that also got me thinking, also gets me thinking, like, okay, I mean, it begs the question, like, for us to ask ourselves personally, what is it that we're worried about? What is it that we're upset about? And I know there's a lot of things that are going on in our world, and there's a lot to be upset by, and there's a lot to be worried about. Just a lot of things that are going on, things that are happening in our city, in our state, our nation, our world, and just a lot of things that to be worried about and to be concerned about, and to just even to be stressed out about. And so Jesus points this out, and he says, Martha, you're distracted, and you're also worried, and you're upset about a lot of things. And but yet, there was this contrast between Martha and her sister Mary. Martha's distracted, and she's worried, and she's upset about a lot of things, and yet you have Mary over here, and she's like content, like she's in heaven, so to speak. She's sitting at Jesus' feet, and she's just listening to him talk. And so it just makes me wonder, because how could she be so content, and how could she be so at peace, if you will, and yet her sister, that she lives in the same house with, is so distracted and so worried and upset about stuff. And I think when you think about it, it's kind of the same for us if we're not careful. There's probably many of us that have welcomed Jesus into our life, but if we're not sitting at his feet, then he can't transform our lives. There's a lot of people that are Christians that they wonder why their lives aren't being transformed, and they wonder why they're not living a better life, or that their life is not being changed. And could it be that that maybe you're not sitting at his feet, that you're not sitting at Jesus' feet, that you prayed the prayer one day, you gave your heart to Jesus, but you haven't really given him your life, that you haven't really said, okay, Jesus, thank you for salvation. I prayed, I thank you for forgiveness and all of that, but you haven't really sat down with him. You haven't really allowed his words to impact your life. Could it be that's the issue, that's what's going on, and maybe this is why you might still be distracted, and why you might still be worried, or why you might still be upset about stuff, because you're not allowing Jesus to transform your life like he wants to transform your life? Because this was the difference between Martha and Mary. Again, Martha is her sister, and she welcomed Jesus into her home, or welcomed Jesus into her life, but she just wasn't at that point where she was going to sit down, at Jesus' feet. Like, she was still allowing the cares of the world, and she was still allowing the cares of life, and she was still allowing just things that were going on to distract her, and to cause her to worry, to stress out, to be upset. And so I just want to encourage us today. Maybe you're at that place where you say, Josh, that's what I want to do. I want to sit at Jesus' feet. I want him to transform my life. I've given him my heart. I prayed the prayer and invited him into my life, but I've never really sat at his feet. And I just encourage you to do that. And it's as simple as picking up the Word of God and picking up the Bible and just starting to read it, or even if you grab like a devotional and you just start going through a devotional on something. Maybe it has to do with worry, maybe it has to do with fear, maybe it has to do with money, maybe it has to do with faith, whatever it might be. But picking up a devotional, there's a great app. It's called the Bible app, and it's got hundreds of devotionals, hundreds of topics that you can choose from. And so definitely encourage you to do that. And maybe you're at that place where you say, you know what, Josh, that's what I want. I've never welcomed him into my life, and that's what I want. And you could do that as well. It's just a simple prayer, and then you can give him your life. So I just want to encourage you with those words. Let's sit at Jesus' feet, not be distracted, not be worried, not be upset about stuff. Let's sit at his feet and let him transform our lives. God bless you.